How y'all doing, guys? Welcome back to Retro Dodo. In this video we're going to be showcasing the top 10 best N64 games in our opinion. It's most likely that some of you may disagree with us, but let us know in the comment section below which you think is the best N64 game of all time. We're doing a lot of these top 10 games videos, so if you do have any recommendations on what console to do next, drop a comment below because we do take them into consideration when producing our content. And if you haven't visited our website, make sure to do so. We have a top 50 N64 list for you to consume, and if you're reading this on our website, hello, thanks for reading, and make sure to go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe for weekly retro gaming content. So without further ado, let's jump in and take a look at the best N64 games. Yoshi's Story. It doesn't matter what age you are or what your gaming ability is, Yoshi is and always will be one of the best Nintendo characters of all time. This game might have been simple for more advanced players, but the storyline, the amazing backdrops, and the cleverly designed worlds will forever be imprinted into my mind. From collecting all of the fruit in a level to unlocking different colored Yoshis and defeating the meddlesome baby Bowser, this game is a classic that went on to inspire Yoshi's Woolly World and Yoshi's Crafted World, two more games that would later see me putting all of my work on the back burner for a rainy day. The premise behind Yoshi's story and making your way up the different branches of the Super Happy Tree seemed so clever and completely different to anything that had come before it at that time. You can't love Nintendo without having a soft spot for Yoshi, which is why he secured the number 10 spot on our best N64 games list. 9. Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley is without doubt one of the weirdest games I've ever played on the N64, but it was also one of the most memorable too. After a spaceship crashes into unknown territory, a robot named Evo is reduced to a tiny crawling computer chip that can only latch on to animals that are fused with space technology. This finds you controlling sheep that can bounce and float around, a motorized rat, bears, dogs, foxes, and more. Each animal has different characteristics that you will need to harness in order to collect Evo's power cells and complete the tasks set out by Dan Danger, Evo's human pilot friend who is trapped inside the broken spaceship. If this all sounds completely mental, then you're already on your way to understanding the concept of this game. You need to try this game for the sheer insanity of it and to make sure that Dan Danger gets back home in time for tea. 8. Legend of Zelda: Majora's Mask. It might be a little bit controversial to put a Zelda title at number 7 in our list, but while Majora's Mask is a great title, it just doesn't rank as highly as the remaining 6 on this list. Don't get me wrong, it's an incredible game, and any foray into Hyrule is one that is worth having a look at, but for me, Majora's Mask just seemed a little too complicated and drawn out. Despite all those things though, I absolutely love it. Why? Because Link is the greatest gaming hero in any form, and playing as both Goron and guitar-wielding Zora will never ever get old. After being given the mission of returning the stolen mask to Happy Mask Salesman of Ocarina fame, you must travel to the 4 corners of the land and defeat 4 bosses, releasing the giants who will eventually hold up the moon and finally set up a showdown between you and the pesky Skull Kid. It's not as action-packed as Ocarina, but it's still a damn good adventure. 7. Banjo Kazooie. This rare classic pretty much defines my childhood, and whenever I see a molehill while out on my travels, I prepare myself to learn a new move from Old Bottles himself. Gruntilda will forever be the name that I use to describe unsavory characters, and Banjo's timeless goo hat will always be my go-to noise whenever I finish a jigsaw puzzle. Rare have made some of the best N64 games on the planet, and the amazing world that they created in Banjo Kazooie was so far ahead of its time. From the colourful Jinjos to the mysterious Mumbo Jumbo, there are so many elements that keep you coming back for more, all adding to the richness and the individual textures in each level. If you can get your hands on the rare sequel Banjo Tooie, then I would recommend buying both together and playing all the way through. 6. Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. Was like nothing that I have ever played before, a 3D fighting game with all of my favourite Nintendo characters. It was quite literally too good to be true. Squaring up against Samus as Fox McCloud, or that moment that Captain Falcon appeared as an unlockable fighter, those are the kinds of moments that define my life as a gamer. The levels were memorable, as were the special moves, and while Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has made a name for itself as having one of the largest roster of fighters in any game, I like the fact that we were only a select number of characters to choose from in the original title. The game was button mashing fighting at its best. Throwing enemies over the edge and batting them off with an item was always my go-to system, but I also enjoyed smashing the B button to pull off some trademark character moves whenever possible. If you've played any of the Smash Bros games over the years but never got hold of the original, then you owe it to yourself to experience the very first title that Nintendo released. 5. Goldeneye. Lasers, Bunker, Bond, and Trevelyan. If anyone asks you what the perfect multiplayer recipe is, just tell them that and walk away. GoldenEye was always going to have a place on this list because of its iconic status in the gaming world. Whether you preferred hand-to-slap combat or running blindly into battle holding an RCP-90, this game is and always will be one of the most exciting multiplayer games in existence. Everyone who has ever owned an N64 will know the pain of searching frantically for the golden gun, only to see the all too familiar red blood trickling down their screen. If you've seen the movie, then GoldenEye the game pretty much follows what happens in the film. The same characters are there, but there's more weapons to choose from and a lot more attention to detail when it comes to finding key cards on dead soldiers. Daniel Craig might be the Bond that everyone talks about these days, but Pierce Brosnan will always be the guy on the front of the GoldenEye game box, and that's the only accolade that really counts. Number 4. Mario Kart 64. Ask anyone around the world if they've ever played a computer game and 99% of them will say that they've dabbled a bit of Mario Kart in their time. It's a simple game where the only rules are getting to the end without crashing, making it accessible to people of all ages and ability. But it's also a rite of passage in the Nintendo gaming universe. Have you really achieved gaming greatness if you haven't got gold trophies on all 4 of the cups? Can you call yourself a racing expert if you can't even navigate Rainbow Road without getting blown off the course or falling foul to the chain chomp halfway around? The answer to both of these questions is obviously no. It doesn't matter if you opt for red shells or bananas, mushrooms or stars, this game has some of the best weapons of any racing game on the planet. I also like the simplicity of Mario Kart 64. The Switch version is incredible and has lots of amazing vehicles, but the no-nonsense approach to only having a handful of characters and one car is still the best in my book. 3. Super Mario 64. Bowser has to be up there as one of the worst villains in the gaming world, constantly stealing Peach and causing trouble for our favourite Italian plumber. Mario 64 rightfully sits high on our list because of its ability to still be interesting over 20 years later. From the very first meeting with King Bob-omb to swinging Bowser around by the tail in those insane puzzle dungeons, this game has everything that classic Nintendo adventure story needs. Battle Boos in a haunted house, find the metal Mario caps and sink to the bottom of hard to reach rivers, seek out shortcuts on Bob-omb Mountain and soar through the sky with a handy winged cap. This game is a true treasure of hidden surprises and a neat little puzzle just waiting to be solved. Some people might say that Super Mario Sunshine is the best Mario game of our time, but for me the Gwahaha floating through the empty castle and the shimmering paintings just waiting to be explored will always make Super Mario 64 the most exciting Mario game of my life. 2. Donkey Kong 64. I used to watch the cartoon with Cranky, Diddy and the gang on TV, and I spent countless hours trying to complete Donkey Kong Country on the SNES and attempting to ace those nail-biting barrel rides. Playing as Donkey Kong and shooting coconuts from his coconut gun was one thing, but being able to play as Diddy, lanky, chunky and tiny as well just blew my mind. There's nothing quite like the feeling of working your way through Kong Island and thwarting King K. Rool at every turn. It's no surprise that this is also a rare classic, and will forever be held as the game that included the all-important N64 expansion pack. This is one of the best games for the N64, hands down, and we advise picking it up when you can to really understand the true meaning of being a Donkey Kong gamer. And finally, number 1, The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time is a work of art. The storyline is breathtaking, the gameplay is fantastic, and it has some of the best bosses that the world has ever seen. I still think about characters like Twinrova and Bongo Bonga to this day when playing modern Zelda games, and somehow the older villains always turn out to be the best. No other levels on any games I've played will ever have the same creepy feeling as the Forest Temple or the Shadow Temple under the Kakariko Well. For me, Ocarina of Time also has the definitive version of Hyrule, with the exception of the fantastic open world in Breath of the Wild, of course. And when I hear Kakariko Village, I think about the guard wearing the Keaton mask and overly happy builders. I still can't walk past a graveyard without thinking about racing Dampy the Gravekeeper and winning that all-important hookshot. So yes, Ocarina of Time rightfully takes the top spot on our best N64 games list of all time, and long may The Legend of Zelda continue to enchant fans new and old around the world. As per usual, thank you for watching. Let us know in the comments below what is your favourite N64 game of all time, and let us know what video you would like us to do next in terms of top 10 games list. Catch you in the next one.